My name is Steve Rosen. Terry DeBono and I made a feature documentary that was accepted for screening at the 2010 Victoria Film Festival in Canada. It was scheduled to run at 9:45 on Sunday evening, January 31st. We've had films in a lot of festivals, so we flew into Victoria, British Columbia 2 days early. We wanted an audience. Glenn Kulick, the central character of our film, would arrive on Saturday. Saturday came and went. No Glenn. Sunday morning, Glenn missed his plane.
Glenn, buddy, you're missing a good breakfast in Victoria, man. You should have been here, man.
This is a good restaurant. With a saucer.
You're supposed to be here. Make me laugh.
Why aren't you here, Glenn? Why aren't you here?
Where are you?
Glenn was supposed to get here yesterday, but he missed his flight, so we don't know if we're going to be seeing him, but we're hoping that we're going to get an audience. The festival seems to be pretty well attended, so, you know, we'll see tonight at 9:45. Luckily, on Saturday, we ran into Michael Reed, a critic from the Times Colonist. He knew about Boyhood Shadows because John Harris, our publicist, had been badgering him relentlessly. As a result, he included us in his Sunday column. A Tougher Sell is Boyhood Shadows, I Swore I'd Never Tell, a powerful, ultimately hopeful documentary about childhood sexual abuse as told through the eyes of Glenn, a survivor who will attend tonight's screening. And today the weather's beautiful, so maybe people will actually come to the theater.
Where are you?
And hopefully we will be seeing Glenn sometime in the not too far off future.
Steve, you'll have to wait just a second on me because I'm going to go call Glenn and see why aren't you here, Glenn? Got to figure this one out. When did you try to get out? Shoot, I was thinking somehow you were in Toronto and you were coming in today. And so there's no flight out of Zihuatanejo into anywhere in the States. Anyway, you're not here, so there's nothing we can do about it. Glenn, it's not the end of the world.
Well, Glenn isn't going to be here. But like Terry said, it's not the end of the world, and Glenn ain't gonna be here. One of our concerns was that we were paired with another documentary, a comedic story by a young man about his father's exodus to Canada during the Vietnam War. We arrived at the theater on Sunday evening and found that our film, although listed first in the program, had been rescheduled second. That meant that we would play at 10:45. Also, the director of the other film was there with his father, so the Q&A Horse and Pony show would include all of us together after both films, two totally different films, at midnight on a Sunday. Luckily, about 50 people stayed for the Q&A, and most of those had come for Boyhood Shadows. But we didn't get out of there until after 1 a.m.
Why are you not here, Glenn?
And you know, we're used to cold weather compared to a lot of people, and this is cold. And you know it's shameful because it's probably not even freezing. Just that we've been walking for a half hour. And I'm freaking cold. Now today, we're going to still be looking for you, Glenn. Now we're going to the high school. We figured you might go back to the high school. So we're going to go to Victoria High School.
We're on Fort, and that was Blanchard, and Blanchard's where the Capital 6 is.
Right.
Why aren't you here, Glenn?
There's another movie from 35, 40 years ago, The Lord of the Flies, that is worth looking at if you wanted to research that, to just kind of see how the concept of violence affects younger minds. On Tuesday, we spoke to a drama film class at Victoria High School.
But as a teacher, having made this film, I look back on kids that I had in class. And I asked the class point blank, how many of you would this interest you? How many of you would like to go? Most of the class had their hands up. They were very eager, juniors and seniors. And I was amazed, but Steve picked up the ball because his quarterback got hurt and was taken to Mexico. And what can you do? You have to go with the backup. But what would you say? You know that today in class, that little girl that came up after class and started talking to me about how you would ask somebody that had been abused. She said, just tell them that they're not alone. I really feel that she had something she wanted to say, and I think she wanted someone to listen to her. And it's like what happened last night at the screening when this man that was probably, I would say in his late 50s. And he didn't have tears coming down his face, but he had tears in his eyes. His eyes were glassy, and they were because of tears. And he just said to me, he took my hand and he held it with both of his hands, and he just said, thank you. Thank you for making this film. And again, it's like, here we are, we're up here, and I know we touched 2 people. I know that man, it made that man feel whole. And that little girl today, something was going on with her, and she hadn't any place to tell it before.
Independent documentary films are always hard to promote. This one has been especially difficult. We know Boyhood Shadows could bring about change in society, but it's really not our job to die for the sins of man, is it? I mean, someone better qualified already has that job. Terry and I are just 2 tired, beat-up filmmakers looking for an audience.